Escape from the Evil Garden is a game inspired by Edward Gorey and by his amazing art. So when I learned that there was such a game, I was immediately excited about it because, like almost everybody else on Earth, I love this kind of art. I love how charming and yet unsettling it is at the same time. Also, it turns out that the game is published by Pomegranate, a publisher that you may know for their jigsaw puzzles. Pomegranate is one of my favorite publishers for jigsaw puzzles. Heck, I'm working on one of their puzzles right now, and I will review that beauty if I don't lose my mind trying to solve it. So, a publisher that I really like, an artist that I really like, what could go wrong? I was very excited about this game. Until I started noticing some strange things, such as no game of the designer on the box or in the game. Ooh, ouch. In 2020, that is not a good sign. Then also, my excitement decreased considerably after I actually read the rulebook, and my excitement decreased even more after I played the game. I played it with my daughters, who are now 7 and 9, and they also didn't like it. In essence, so in case you're busy, these days of social distancing, you're staying at home, you must be very busy. In case you don't have time to watch the entire video, this is a roll and move game with basically no significant decision, no significant strategy. Complete randomness. When it comes to your random movement, after you randomly move, you end on one of these symbols here, and then you draw a random encounter card and you resolve the random encounter that will bring more randomness. And there you go, I told you the game, but more in detail. You will receive a random character. Different characters have different abilities, but they don't really matter because, again, it's not that you can really choose. They just say, oh, you will always have this advantage or always have this disadvantage. Sometimes, yes, you have some choices, but in most cases, it's just a completely random advantage or disadvantage. So you get a random character, then you will get a random ticket that will tell you on which of the 6 starting locations you will place your game piece at the beginning of the game. And your purpose, your point, your objective in the game is to leave the evil garden by reaching that space there. And my first thought was like, wow, that's amazing. How did they balance the game? How did they make sure that all 6 starting points have the same chances of winning the game, that they all have paths of the same length? I am afraid you know the answer. They didn't. The game is not balanced. Some exits have a considerably shorter path to that place there. And also the game says that you start and you need to move down that path, but then you can also go whichever direction you want, and so you can go back to the starting place. So basically, once everybody counts the spaces from the starting locations to the exit, everybody will simply want to go down the simplest, the shortest path. And so then if you start from a bad path, you just go back from the beginning and you go down the best path. There's no reason not to. There is no reason not to. So actually, if this was Candyland or Goose with a single track, nothing would change. I'll give you an example here. Suppose that you're here. That is the path, right? That is the exit of the garden. There's the exit. If you go there, you win. So you're here. You could choose to go there. That's the path to the exit. And you go there, you win. There's no other trickery. Or, instead of going this way, you could go this way and walk down this path. And then go here. And then here. And then here. And then here. And then here. And... oh, and then here. 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 You could do that. Or you could do that. So basically you have this entire area of the board. There is no reason for anybody to ever get there. It looks cute, it looks great, it looks like a maze, and maybe it works like a maze the first time that you play the game. But when I play a game, I want a game, and when I want to have a maze, I'll just buy a book with riddles and puzzles and, wait for it, mazes. So, it's a completely random roll and move. You roll a die, you move the equal number of spaces. If you land on a space like this one with that symbol there, then you roll an extra die. If you end up on a empty space, nothing happens. If you end here on the flaming bush or the shrubs or whatever it is, then you draw an encounter card. And the encounter cards have the charming and unsettling art by Gorey. Not a lot of it, maybe it's like 6-7 illustrations repeated across the deck. I'll simply let you read what they do. As you will see, almost never do you get a significant choice. Sometimes you can choose to stop or to roll a die. And that's pretty much the only choice that you get in the game, but that only happens with certain cards. After you randomly move to a location, then you will have a random thing. You may acquire tokens that will increase or decrease your future rolls. Nice art. Random event. Nice art. Totally random event. In most cases, you're just rolling the die again. So a die where you roll a die to get to a spot where you'll draw a card to roll a die and get more randomness, I think you get the point. There's basically no significant agency. And again, you get some very cute pieces of art, but not many, and you just get a ton of randomness. As if this was not enough, as if this was 1975, one of the penalties in the game, which is totally random, whether you get it or not, is not as a penalty for a bad choice that you make, is a penalty for rolling the wrong numbers. You may be sent to the mysterious disappearances, in which case you use a token to mark your position or where you disappear from the game. You're placed there and you stay there for until, during your turn, you roll a die once and you roll 4 or more. And then you reappear in the space that you were before you mysteriously disappeared. So yes, there is still the penalty that you have in the board game Dungeon 1975, and you have some other games from back in the day in which skipped turns are used as a penalty, which you receive for no fault of yours. And it did happen to me in a game that I spent half of the game simply sitting there. And I was okay, I guess, because I saw my daughters were still playing and they looked like they were enjoying the game. But even they, at the end, even when one of my daughters won, I mean, even the 7-year-old was like, I don't really feel like I won because I really didn't do anything that did that. So, it really looks like somebody had the idea, why don't we make an escape from the Evil Garden game, or better, why don't we get a game with that Gorey art, which is great art, but they just did not come up with anything other than Goose with more randomness, Candyland with more randomness. This is a game that just feels dated, there's no acknowledgement of all the amazing development that we have had in game design in the last couple of years, in the last decade or so. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. You get a bunch of, like, guess, really large bookmarks, but it's a game that, to me at least, holds absolutely no interest from the point of view of gameplay. You want to look at the board and maybe you will laugh at some of the crazy stuff that happens, but ultimately it's not a game that you're playing. It's a performance of randomness that plays you and plays your friends. Maybe it has to do with a certain fatalistic, nihilistic vision that some of Gorey's art seems to capture, but even then, I like a game about nihilism that is not entirely nihilistic to play, not entirely random. And this is what this game is. It's just pure randomness, barely a game. It looks nice from the point of view of production, but to me, as from the point of view of gameplay, there's virtually no game here.